Good afternoon and welcome to my latest flight report for the online game Birds of Steel, played on the Xbox 360. This is part of a long series that I've been doing where I've been documenting some of my battles that I've been playing in an attempt to highlight the things I do right and to try to correct the things that I do wrong. This match took place about 2 weeks ago. I've been on vacation, so it's been a little while and I haven't been able to do the commentary for it. But lately I've been flying the P-40A Kitty Hawk, a pretty nice plane. The attempt is to try to unlock as many of the skins as I can. There are skins all the way up through 100 kills, and at this point I had not quite finished. I think it was between 80 and 100 during this game. Here I'm rocking the, I believe it's a New Zealand skin, or an Australian Air Force skin. I think it's a New Zealand skin for this one, but I like the color pattern. It lacks the teeth. I also appreciate the little dents there on the nose that you can see in the shot. The P-40 is a difficult plane to fly and do well in, for me anyway, because it's such a heavy plane. It takes a little while to take off, and ordinarily, like you've seen in many of my videos, I will circle the airfield. This particular match was against several other very good players, including Sergeant Quinn, and you may have seen me fly against him in some other battles. But this map, I used a, some people call it a glitch map, but I superimposed, I believe it was Stalingrad, over top of the typical Ruhr map. And what that does is it moves the airstrips very far away from each other and eliminates the central beacon, giving me plenty of time to essentially fly more or less straight and gain at least 1,000 feet, if not 1,500 feet of altitude before I encounter enemies. At this point in the game, I had seen some enemy planes use the map to get there, and someone blew right past me, shooting at me. So I immediately reversed. Now in the game I think I had a better sense of where they were, but watching this video I still can't seem to spot where they were. So here I attempted to reverse on those guys using gravity to help me do a quick sharp turn, pull my nose back up, and you can see out on my left wing there is the plane that I'm after. This profile reveals it to be a Focke-Wulf 190, and I knew Sergeant Quinn was playing this game and suspected that well, I know he flies the 190 a lot, so I suspected that was going to be him in the 190. I reversed direction in an attempt to head off this turning 190 in a pass, and apparently also the 190 must have reversed direction, because here I've, not intentionally, but somehow gotten behind him. He cuts down below me. I do a couple more shots there in an attempt, in a snapshot to try to get him, and I reverse on him. I've got a little bit better turning at this point, I think, than the 190 does, even though he's got a better roll than me, and he climbs. And somehow I got the smash to climb with him. He actually pulls a complete loop, and I start to lose my velocity there, begin to stall, but cut my angle a little bit to the right, and still maintain visual on this guy, using gravity to let me drop my nose, keeping my nose a little bit above him and slightly higher to gain some advantage, and do a little bit of firing. Clearly I hit him there. He's venting smoke or steam or something at this point. And here he goes into a stall. I don't know if this was a defensive stall or what happened, but I was far enough behind him in the stall that I was able to fire and shear off his wing, giving me the first kill on, I believe that was Sergeant Quinn. So I've done fairly well so far, and I'm moving towards, again, part of the battlefield, in the middle of the battlefield, looking for enemy planes, and quickly spot a BF-109 there. And so it's a little bit higher than I am, and I'm kind of slow on energy, so I can't climb up to it. So my intent was to stalk it here, but this 109 and an enemy plane both do a head-on. They either collide or they both shoot each other down, but either way the 109 and I guess it's my ally, his enemy, my allied plane, both collide, and so they're down for good. And so I reverse back towards the middle of the field looking for the enemies. I'm relying heavily on my map in this board. It's a very big field, so relying on my map so I can spot anybody, and certainly I found someone way up there that's going to be difficult to climb to, and because I lack the energy to sort of climb quickly, I leave them alone and go looking for another target. My apologies again to the jumpiness of some of the video in here. For some reason the playback has little pauses like you just saw there, and I can't find a way to stop that. I edited a few of them out here, but it's still some things I just couldn't get rid of. So here I am flying fairly low, 400 or 500 feet, and spot what appears to be, according to my map, an enemy plane. And so I try to, and he's turning, so I try to pull my nose ahead of where his turn is going to be to anticipate so I can get behind him. So I'm pulling a heavy lead turn, and managed to do all right to get behind him in this case. Still lost sight of him for a minute. I'm hunting. There he goes. Now, I think, if I remember right, I think I was under the impression that this was a BF-109E, the AML version, so the early war version, which at the time I assumed to be not a very quick plane, so I thought I could catch up to this guy. But as you can see there, either he has energy or it actually is a much quicker plane than I anticipated because he's far out of my targeting range. I'm doing a few shots here out of a desperate hope to be able to hit him, but more as an attempt to try to frighten him, to cause him to turn. He's so far ahead of me, 400 or 500 meters at this point ahead of me, that I can't hit him. Now I know that Sergeant Quinn has respawned by this point, and I know that I'm in trouble, so usually fear of excellent players causes me to be a little bit more cautious, which is a good thing. I think I get cocky sometimes when I'm against players that I imagine aren't that good, so I'm checking my 6 as often as I can, and also using the map to make sure that there's nobody around. My idea here was if he could turn and I could get ahead of him like what's going on here, I might be able to get a snapshot, but I lacked the energy to pull up, and he reversed his turn much faster than I thought he would. So keeping my eyes on him, I reverse, level out, and lose sight of, there he goes. He's hugging really low, headed towards my airfield, I believe. And again, just a bit out of my range. With cannons, I probably could hit him, but the Kitty Hawk has machine guns on the wings, and it's just a little difficult to get those things to land on a plane that's out of your targeting range. I've got my target set at 150 meters, which is about maybe 400 feet or so. So here I thought I had a really good shot, and he pulled up just as I was about to fire and slowed down enough to where I lost track of him. He's down below my right wing. I tried to do a couple S moves in an attempt to spot where the guy went and lost him behind me. So excellent defensive move on his part. One sort of arbitrary jink, another one is slowing down to let me overshoot him. And here I am using a combination of the map and looking to see if I can't spot where this guy went. Now, the map gives me a vague idea where he goes. I know he's hugging the treetops, so here I am dangerously flying low, and there's the plane. A little bit easier to spot if I'm down low than if I'm up above. So I'm in pursuit again and far behind, making it difficult for me to catch up to this guy. I've used quite a bit of my ammo between the first kill and the second plane, so there is no ammo indicator in this game, nothing to tell you what your count is or what your remaining shots are, so often you just don't know that you've run out of ammo until you start firing. Now this guy is racing towards my airfield, and he turns, which is what I want, so I try a lead shot and miss him a little bit, try another couple lead shots, miss him. Finally, I've got the distance on him. I fire again, and he just doesn't rise up through my gun sight like I thought. Here again, I thought he was going to drift through my gun sight, and again, he drifts in just the right way. I slow down, anticipating that he's going to do the same sort of slow down maneuver, and he just doesn't rise up. I fire there and don't seem to get any hits on him, so he's running out of luck, and I thought he was going to go down into the water there. He dipped down and skimmed the water, so that fooled me for a second. Again, behind him, and I thought this was going to be it. And again, shots, and nothing lands, or at least nothing significant lands. So I'm pursuing him pretty tightly, and I'm getting pretty close to the kill, and this is exactly, so shots there again, nothing lands. I couldn't believe that couldn't land. He's a little bit closer than my firing range, but something should have hit, and there's the perfect ideal shot right there, lined up in my gun sight, just the right distance, and I am out of ammo. So no way to bring the guy down just as he reaches my airfield. I know there's nothing I can do at this point, so my goal here was to attempt, quite irresponsibly I think, my goal here was to attempt to get to land as quickly as I can. You can see the flak from the 109 ML there. My guy's shooting at him. So I drop my wings, look to drop my flaps, slow my speed down, and I went to turn the way this airfield lands is the hard airstrip, and you can actually see sort of a soft grassy airstrip leaving it at a acute angle, or at a diagonal angle. And my thought at this point was to come in sharp, slow myself down, not hit the main airstrip, but to hit that diagonal airstrip there a little bit. And I came in hot, should have sort of moved far away and come in at a much straighter angle, but I hit the ground, bounced again, and then for whatever reason my right wing took a dip that I didn't expect it to, and that flipped me over, which was fine until I rolled completely on my back and blew up, and that would have killed my pilot right there. So that was a big mistake on my part. I was hasty in my attempt to land, and I should have flown away and then reversed and come in the airstrip at a slower speed and at a much better angle. I respawned in this game knowing that several other players were out there. There's a nice external shot of my P-40, and you can see some of the damage done to the airstrip and from my plane exploding. And here I go with the takeoff again. Once again, I fly down the runway as quickly as possible, and by the time I reach that second tower, that's when I drop my takeoff flaps, my rear wheels off the ground, and by the end of the runway, I reach about 100 miles an hour, and immediately raise up my wheels, and then shortly after raise up my combat flaps, skimming the trees. And I try not to raise in elevation much until my airspeed gets to about 140 miles an hour, and it takes just a little bit. So rather than fly straight to the middle of the field, I move in the direction where you can see the gunshots are firing at something. So here I am just trying to see if I can spot that enemy plane a little bit. I can't hit it, but I can slowly move back to it. He's flying too high, coming back in towards my runway. And I'm losing sight of him a little bit, so I'm trying to use my map at this point to figure out where he went and give me a better idea of where to look for him. And there is an enemy plane again, so I'm trying to stalk this guy as best I can from far behind. And am getting, because I just took off, I haven't really built up a whole lot of speed yet, and I've turned a lot, so I'm getting outrun. In fact, at this point, I was getting paranoid. Why couldn't I catch the guy? So I went to an external view just to check to make sure that my landing flaps weren't still down. That sometimes in takeoff, I goof that up and forget to raise my flaps, and that really inhibits your speed. Now there goes a plane racing in towards my airstrip, and I went to follow that one. I think it was an enemy plane, at least at the time I must have believed it was an enemy plane. So my hope was to go after this guy to see if I couldn't bring him down. And he rolls over. I do a couple shots. And upside down managed to hit this 109 while flying upside down, which is actually, I think, a difficult shot for me to pull off. So now I've got this guy hit, and I'm pursuing him. This is not the AMIL. This looks to be I think this is like an F or a G model. I'm not exactly sure which, but this is I believe this is a different model. I could be wrong here. It got a little confusing. I wasn't always sure which plane I was after, and I think there were at least 3 players on the other side. But I've hit him, and he's trailing smoke, which should make him easier to chase. Now, it doesn't matter what he is, because the 109s have proven that they can outrun this P-40. So the goal is to then stick with him as much as possible, and whenever he turns, to pull a lead turn on, that is to keep, in this case, keep my nose just to the right of him, so cut his angle a little bit short. This guy is also flying treetop level, fairly low, which does not give me a whole lot of room to build up the necessary energy and speed, so I've got to be extra careful. Also, much more difficult to see unless I keep my nose down, silhouette the plane against the sky, but I also have to watch out that I'm not going to bump into any trees. This guy's really flying low and defensively. I picked my nose up, lost sight of him. There he is out the right window, getting ready to fly through or very close to the factories. This guy is making a beeline back for his home base, so I think he knows he's been hit, and I think he knows that he's got to try to repair. So again, he banks. I checked the map, and his runway is off to the left a little bit, so I was trying to cheat and stick to his left just a tad so that I could anticipate where he was going to come and get behind him. And here he slows down a lot. I believe he's preparing for a landing. In a second, you can see that he's going to drop his wheels as he goes in for a landing. And this is a bit of cruelty on my part. There's his wheels down. It's a bit of cruelty on my part, but hey, the guy went after my runway, so I thought I would hit him. and I shot down my second plane. So that's 2 kills here in the P-40, along with 1 bad crash based on an airplane pilot mistake of my own. So now I'm moving back towards the middle of the field again, trying to see if I can't spot any other players, keeping an eye on the sky up above. And because I think I detected from the map that there was somebody close by, so I'm looking somebody close to the river. One of the tactics I use, when you spot someone on the map, you try to check where the dot is in relation to one of the features on the map, and the dot was very close to the edge of this river here. So I'm looking, if you can't spot him low level, then a quick glance up to see if I can't find him. And again, I had some difficulty finding him. So reversing and looking to climb, seeing what I can see, checking the map again, trying to find this difficult set of planes. Zooming in also sometimes helps spotting planes against the background, but could not find what I was looking for at first. It took me a few moments to find my target. Check my 6 because I know that the Quinn is out there looking for me. And keep a slow turn. Looking for anything up in front. Again, checking the map. Again, a quick look at my 6 to make sure there's nobody back there. This part of the video is quite jumpy. And there, against the back, I spot a plane climbing. And it goes against 2 other planes. And it looks like one of those planes gets brought down. The message on my screen told me that I believe that Sergeant Quinn had gotten the kill for that. So I knew that this was Quinn over here again. And down there you can see there's a Focke-Wulf 190. So I anticipate flying sideways. He kind of turns into me and I cut low. He pulls up, and I'd seen him pull this loop maneuver earlier in the game, so I had enough energy to go with it. Followed him. Tried a few shots, but couldn't land anything. And right around here, I did get him. I got his coolant system. Looks like he's also trailing some oil. So I'm coming in on him pretty quickly at this point. Want to finish him off. He goes to climb a little bit, and he doesn't have the energy for a full loop, so he banks off to the right. I don't have the energy for the loop either, so that was fortunate for me. Kind of pulls a slow barrel. I'm still trying to hit him with my shots, and I'm catching up to him. At this point, he's got his flaps down and his wheels down. As you fly by, I see I hit him again, and you can see his prop is stopped. So I think he killed his engine, but he was attempting to pull a landing here. Now, I wouldn't get credit for the kill until he actually rolled to a stop. And it was around this point that I spotted that one of my own allied AI planes was also flying down on him. Now, earlier in the game, I had lost a kill to an AI who swooped in and stole my kill from me, and I wasn't about to let that happen. So here's Quinn on the ground, and I just thought, you know what, this is awfully mean, but I want to make sure I get that kill. Since he hadn't rolled to a stop, I hadn't gotten credit for it yet. I took a few shots, flew by, and once he stopped, I did get credit for the kill. So that was 3 kills this game to 1 death, and I did manage to wound the Emil, even though I couldn't bring him down. Not too bad for the game. See you guys next time. Cheers.